you can teach the dog how to teach themselves to track. What I mean by that is, let's say a person was blind since birth. How would you describe the color red to them? Seriously. Like, you couldn't. It's a warm thing. It wouldn't mean anything. You couldn't even begin to describe it. It would be a very interesting conversation, like somebody that has been born since birth, if you could interview them and not like insult them. How do you dream? I know it's not in pictures. Is it all feelings, or your sounds must be amazing? Be a very good discussion though. Back to tracking though, if my dog could speak English right now and I'm like, what are you smelling? They couldn't even describe it. You know, they could not even describe it. You know how much 1,000 times is? A dog's nose is about 1,000 times stronger. That's why I was laughing when the drug cartel was putting cocaine in the middle of the coffee. Like, it's smelling 100% cocaine, 100% coffee. Our noses don't work like that. Not to be crude, but there's a pile of poo and pizza right here. A dog is smelling everything. It's smelling the pizza, it's smelling the poo, it's smelling the pepperoni. It's like incredible the amount they factor. So if I'm tracking, my dog is smelling the clover, it's smelling the alfalfa, it's smelling the dirt. It's very intense. So I think it breaks it down simple as you cannot teach your dog tracking. You can teach them to teach themselves. But we're in charge of certain things in practice. Wind direction. We're in charge of length. We're in charge of food. How high of desire is your bait? Is it, actually I'm gonna put color of food also. People say, color food, what are you talking about? I said, yeah, the color of food. So if I'm tracking on green grass and I do my scent pad and I have white cheese, my dog's gonna be picking that up like a chicken. It's not even using its nose. So I try to get a color of food like the Royal Canine. If I'm tracking, it matches very well. I can tell because my dogs don't see it. They have to really use their nose for it. I'm in charge of the design of the track. I'm in charge of foot placements. So if you want to compete at the high level, I don't have people laying my own track, just like it's not conducive. Like, by the way, Roland Seibel's calling me this morning. I'm like, hope everything's all right. So I lay my own tracks, but I don't know who my track layer is going to be at a big event. So some people lay tracks like this. Some people like this. I've seen people lay it like this. So I'm going to do different footsteps, so my dog, I haven't noticed they're smelling me versus somebody else, the cell shedding. I haven't noticed that. We do ground tracking. Like I said, it's not really tracking, it's obedience. It's obedience tracking. Like I said, if my child gets lost, I wouldn't say, you get my Schutz on 3 dog. They'll be like, oh, I went 600 paces, he's not here. So it's, AKC is like, actually AKC in the trailer, they have really good tracking. It's fast. They still teach like we do. Most AKC people teach it like we do, but then they have the opportunity to go up into the air with their nose. They can air scent, which I do like. But anyway, this is very disciplined tracking. So there's many ways to start, and I'm going to show you how I do. I start with a scent pad, and I go by Johnny Deegan's method of tracking. He was a guy that got 200 points at the World Championships. Sorry, 100 points at the World Championships. That's 2 perfect tracks in a row with a dog named Nero. And you're like, was that lucky? His next dog, the Zidane, also a 100-point track in the world, and then the next year another 100-point track in the world. So I'm like, okay, he knows something. Yeah. You just hit 4 100s with 2 different dogs. Okay, Johnny, come over and let's talk about tracking. So I do a scent pad. This is my flag, back left heel. And I do a scent pad like this, like all of you have done. I put it in here. And then I put food on the corners. I put about 20 pieces in there. I come out here, take a big step out. I bring my dog and I say, even if it's a young dog, I say soup. They have no clue what it means. They get bored, playing with the flag maybe a little bit. If they won't put their nose to the ground, I'll get a piece of food and throw it in there. And they're like, hey, food. They have to be good eaters. We've all done that. They go outside the scent pad, don't say anything, come back in, good soup. So they start hearing that word soup means track, take in scent in your nose. I do that for maybe only 5 times. I do it different than a lot of people. I'm not against people. Some people will keep a puppy or a dog in a scent pad for 8 months with different designs. I'm too impatient for that. I'm like, oh, let's do something else. So if the dog starts recognizing this flag represents tracking, what do I do? What's my cue for tracking? I open up the crate, 2 pieces of food. Stretch out my long line so you have this ritual. They're like, oh, we're tracking. We practice, and we should today, with flags on the long down. Too many people don't practice with flags on the long down. If this has always been tracking a flag, you go to your long down, guess what you see dogs do all the time? They start sniffing. So it's really important to practice with flags on your long downs, the club and stuff, because they start associating this with sniffing, and you watch how many dogs in a championship lay down and they start smelling. It might be because there's 100 dogs laying there before, but I've seen it where it's the very first dog or the second dog or the first female, and they start smelling. I'm like, well, there hasn't been anybody on that. I'm wondering if they don't practice enough with flags. Anyway, so now my dog understands. They understand exactly what that scent pad means. Now I do a scent pad. I put 5 pieces in it, like a dice in a Monopoly game. Corner, 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 middle. I do my first step connected to the scent pad. I put food in that first step. My second step, my third step, I put food in every step for about 15 paces. Now this is probably the dog's 5th track. 15 paces. I do another scent pad, and I put 10 pieces of food on this. 5 in there, 10 on there. Let's say, I'm going to call it 50% journey, 50% wanting to go to the end. So 50% has to enjoy the journey, but 50% has to want to get to the end. Your dog has to want to finish the track. But let's say I'm using kibble here, and at the end of the track, I am using filet mignon. You'll have your dog tracking so fast, trying to get to the end. You got 90% wanting to get to the end, 10% journey. You're going to have problems. Is fast tracking faulty? A dog that tracks fast? No, it is not faulty. If they have a change of pace, that is faulty. Why do we want slow trackers? You guys answer me that question. Why do we want a dog slow at tracking?
So they don't miss corners.
Yes, because if you have a fast, let's say this is where my corner is right here and it goes that way. Left corner. If I have a dog, right, left, right, left, right, left. It's gonna miss, it's gonna, like they say in the military, aim small, miss small. So if they're going slow, they're not going to overshoot. But if they're going real fast, by the time they realize there's no scent, they're way lost. So it's not for the points as necessarily as if there's a mistake to happen, then the mistake's too big. So I put 5 pieces in the scent pad because I want them to take in that scent. And everything in tracking is about rhythm. I did not know this with horses. You guys will. Somebody told me. On sleigh horses, they have the bell, so the horses can hear their rhythm together. When one of them is out of rhythm, the animal wants to get back in rhythm with the other horses. I'm like, you didn't know that's why they had bells on horses? And somebody told me that was into that. I'm like, that's very interesting. Tracking is, like there's a lady that was a really good tracker that used to train out here named Patty Garcia. She was a really good tracker, and she had a ponytail. She was on this track at a trial, and her ponytail swinging. I'm like, ooh, 100-point track, and it stopped. I'm like, oh, 99. It's back to swinging. Because then everybody laughed, and I'm like, and they saw exactly what I was talking about. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. I put food in every step until the dog is about 16 months old. Every step. I want right, left, plus slow. Why do I put 10 pieces at the end? I want them to really enjoy the end also. So now let's just say I have a dog too methodical and slow, and I'm like, are you going to have drive to finish the track? I might put 20 pieces at the end. I want them to want to get to the end. Okay, so that's the very first thing.